What is up, everybody? You guys have been waiting for this for a minute. Let's talk about that for a second. You guys have been waiting. Like, I literally get asked about this every single day almost. People message me and they're like, hey, like, how do you make a deck? Like, what goes into the design of the deck? What goes into the production of the deck? What goes into the fulfillment of the deck? And today's gonna be a long video. What's up, everybody? Cameron Toner here, and today is a very anticipated video. So many people over all of OPC's history, ever since we came out with Peelers V1, they have been asking us, what is the process to making my own deck? How do I take this thing that's in my mind that I want to be a deck and get all the way to the point of selling that deck? And I'm going to, in this video, preface some things, talk about what we do, and talk about a little bit about like an alternative route to what we do, to hopefully shed some light on in terms of what it takes to be a deck brand, and kind of what all goes into it. Because I think a lot of people, they just don't think about it. I mean, that you see the cards, they're cool, you buy the cards, you get them. But like, I don't think anybody knows all of the process behind everything that happens with it. So today I hope to share that with you. In the future, I might try to make like a little documentary about during the actual process of making like this one singular deck. But you guys probably won't see that for a very long time, just because of how far we are ahead in production. And we'll get to why we're so far ahead in production later in the video. So let's hop into this preface. My handy dandy notes out here, not sponsored. So even though it's Apple and we're fruit, but hey, you know. Okay, so here's the beginning preface of this video. I don't want this video to discourage anybody from trying to make their own deck. I don't want this video to make anybody upset. I want to be very, very, very upfront and forward with what making a deck of cards is like. And I think that it's going to very much be it's gonna sound like a lot, because it is. And I think, with at least in my experience, the people I've talked to, again, like, they just don't know any of this exists. They just think you print the deck and you sell it and it's cool. So we're gonna go into that. I just wanted to preface everything with, like, hopefully, like, this doesn't discourage you. That's not the goal of this. It's also not the goal for me to upset anybody. This is just what the process, for us at least, and what it looks like for most companies. So yeah, let's get into the beginnings of everything. So the beginning process of making a deck. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to email USPCC, and you're gonna be like, hey bro, can I get a card template? Cool, yeah, here's like the Illustrator file. So the first thing you have to have is Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is really, really good. If you want to design a deck, get Adobe Illustrator. So you have Adobe Illustrator. You open up the file, and it's just this. It's what you're looking at right now. It is very much just a blank canvas for anything for you, to do with what you want. Pretty much all they ask is that the back design is, unless you're doing borderless, that the back design is within these borders here, and that's pretty much it. And they're like, have a field day. This is also the same template you use for each face card, so number cards, face cards. Each one will be its own individual Illustrator file, and then that's how you send it over to USPCC. They will also send you a template for the card box if you're going to print the card box through them, which I just highly suggest. That's what we do most of the time. So you'll get the Illustrator file from them. It'll look like this, and yeah, you'll go free in design. And if you guys want a tips video on what you should do to design a deck, sounds like a very daunting task, but I would be down to do that. So comment below if that's a video that you would like to see me do. And yeah, let's move on. Before we move on, there's a big thing. Here's a tip I'll give you guys off the bat. In my opinion, hire a designer. Just do it. Hire a graphic designer. If you have no idea what you're doing in Illustrator, Two, like you really, really, really want this to be like a successful thing that looks very professional, find somebody that is a professional doing it. Like I used my friend from college who was a graphic designer, and we paid her a flat rate to design the decks for us, and like I still had creative input, but she was able to do things that made the deck look really good, and her artistry was really good in terms of how the decks got off the ground. Which it's not frowning upon you if you want to design your own deck and you want to do all of it. Like, heck yes, like do it. Like I could never do that. But like my professional advice would be to have a concept, get a designer, and work on it together. Most designers are really cool about getting paid per project, and most designers, usually with small creators or people that have never done anything before, are usually pretty understanding about pay, and that if you're going to do a Kickstarter, you'll pay them if it gets funded, and all that kind of stuff. Leave comments below if you have any questions about that kind of stuff. But, okay, let's actually move on to what we do as a company in terms of our process in making the things you see, all the things. Let's do that. All right, the bread and butter, everything that's happening. So, in the beginning, so again, we start out with the same templates that everyone does from USPCC with the Illustrator files, and pretty much it takes 2 to 3 months to design a deck. Which you're probably sitting there like, your brand is so simplistic, and like there are so many there are so many other complicated decks out there. And to that I say yes, but like we also put a lot of time and effort into making sure that like what we have is perfect and we're in love with it, and all the little details and all the little brainstorming. What you see is definitely not the first rendition of anything. So that's kind of why it usually just takes 2 to 3 months to do that kind of thing. Now, if we're able to like recycle some things, like in terms of like if we're doing a different fruit but it's in the same series, like Snackers V2, it's pretty much the same box. We just recolored and added some things. So in terms of that, it doesn't take as long, maybe about 2 months at the most. But still, there's a lot of time and energy and back and forth with the designer, and of course they're working on other things, so it takes about 2 to 3 months to get all of that done. So then, once we have all of that done, we package up the design real nice, and we send it to the United States Playing Card Company. They usually take about 2 to 3 weeks to make a proof of it, which they'll send to you digitally so you can look over it one last time, do one last sweep, make sure everything's perfect, everything's great, and then you're like, cool. And if you're like us, we are at the point where we don't use Kickstarter. We just pay directly to get the cards printed. And we know that not a lot of people can do that. So there are 2 different routes. So our route is just paying to get them printed. And that is a lot of money. So like, like if you have never made a deck before, I would not suggest doing this. If before Kevin came into the picture with Riffle Shuffle, we weren't going to do this. Like, me and Nate didn't have the money. It's like 5-ish grand for like even just like the minimum run to print with USPCC. So we would have done Kickstarter if Kevin didn't come along. Now, Kickstarter is its own beast. I've never messed with Kickstarter. So my advice is if you'd like to learn more about Kickstarters and like how that works and what to do with it, reach out to people that have done Kickstarters. Reach out. There's Elemental playing cards. There is Kier Gomes with Slow Hands. There is Sam Gordon with Viscid. There are so many Kickstarter decks that you can talk to and figure out what their process was and what they had to do and all that kind of stuff. I'm just here to kind of tell you guys what we do, which is the other one, which is the expensive part of just printing the deck outright. So yeah, so we give USPCC an absurd amount of money, and they print our decks. Now it takes usually 3 to 4 months for them to print our cards. So then after they print our cards, after 3 to 4 months passes, we get the decks. The decks are done, and that's just average. Like, there are so many other outside factors that go into that. The coronavirus was one of them. During the holiday seasons, they're very slammed, so like it sometimes takes longer than that. And yeah, so they take 3 to 4 months, and then they get done. Then the factory sends the decks to our warehouse, which for fulfillment we use Gamblers. They're really awesome. They're really great. I love them. Then they get the decks in about a week. So 3 to 4 months and then a week to get to Gamblers. Then Gamblers has to send me my portion so that I can make the things. And my fiance. Hello. I'm making a video.
What are you making for?
I'm making a video for OPC.
Nice.
About how to make a deck of playing cards. What the heck is that?
For you.
What? I don't remember where I was. If you want to see what the distraction was, watch the end of the video. Yeah, so the decks take a week to get from the factory to Gamblers, and then Gamblers takes 4-ish days to send my portion to me so that I can make all of the content. And that content takes usually about a week to make. That is all the photos, the trailer, any other videos that go with it. Creating the post, creating the marketing campaign, creating all of these things that you then see when we announce throughout the sale of the card. So everything is planned out beforehand. So that's what happens that week, and then we announce with the trailer, and then we market for 2 weeks, and then we sell the deck. So that is for us a very, very, very dumbed down version of the entire process. If you were wanting to sell your own decks, there is, in terms of you need to figure out where you're printing, if you're printing with USPCC, your fulfillment, which is going to be like Gamblers or Art of Play or somewhere else. And yeah, that is the long process of making decks. So if you, now to kind of sum this all up, to put into perspective what we do as a company, we try to come out with 4 or 5 decks a year. So we try to come out with a good amount of decks, a good variety of decks. And that whole process has to happen for each one of them. And for them to come out every 2 or 3 months, like we're trying to do, to give you guys variety and to give you guys, a good amount of designs per year for the amount that we print, we have things working at the same time. So I'm going to try to put a graphic on the screen for you real quick. So this is the beginning of the deck. We have all of these things that happen. Hopefully that's on the screen too. And then if you think about it, if we come out with a deck every 2 months, everything gets stacked on top of itself. So when we're releasing a deck, we also have 1 or 2 decks printing, and we have a deck being designed. So all of the parts of the process are all happening at once for different decks. And I think that's where a lot of the hard work, the complexity comes in, is not just printing a deck and doing a deck. It's the planning, and it's the time that goes into each one, and then having to project manage each one of those things all at once is definitely kind of what that entails. And coming out with 4 or 5 decks a year isn't for everybody. I know a lot of people come out with 1 or 2 decks a year, and that's also okay. I just wanted to kind of give you guys the perspective of what we do and what our process looks like, to also just kind of show you what goes into what we do, so that you can take that perspective into something in terms of our Peelers V3 selling out really quick. Those had already been done printing and everything before we sold Carvers. So we didn't know how Carvers were going to do, and since those sold out fast, we weren't able to change or print more of the Peelers V3, so that just was a more limited run right after that, which of course you can now see with our next deck, which if you're watching this video, we will be announcing that on September 16th. It is a 5,000 run because we put that in after Carvers and before Peelers V3, so we knew that we were going to need to increase our print run because of Carvers. So any changes or any bumps in the road that we hit, because of how far ahead we are, you guys sometimes won't see a direct change in the next deck. It'll be in the one after that or the one after that, just because of how rapid our process is in terms of trying to, create consistent, different designs for you guys. Hello everyone. So I was sitting here editing this video, and I realized that there are some very important things I forgot to mention in terms of money. Now I know that money isn't everything, but I wanted to talk more about cost of making a deck, and kind of what all goes into that, and then kind of compare that to the prices that decks are sold at, and like what that is, because you're putting all this hard work into it. Of course you want to gain some sort of value out of it. Like, yes, it's very fun, but like, most people don't make playing cards just for fun. They want to make an income from it. They want it to be a part-time income or a full-time income, and if that's what you want to do, I want to really shed some light on the perspective of what you're getting yourself into. So in terms of cost for a deck, on average, all costs, like, think about this. Like, it's not just printing the decks. You have this side, you have half brick boxes that you print. That costs money. You have shipping of those boxes from wherever you print them to your warehouse. That costs money. You have assembly of those half brick boxes, or putting the decks in bags, or whatever you're doing. That costs money. You have stickers and keychains, and that costs money. You have shipping out decks to sponsors. That costs money. Shipping the decks to yourself. That costs money. Like, there are so many things that cost money. It costs money to keep the product at the warehouse if you're keeping it there for a decent amount of time. It costs, like, the extra money for, like, damaged decks, and shipping those out costs money. There's a lot of things that go into the cost of everything. And usually, even like 2,500, 3,000 runs, we usually spend $9,000 to $12,000 on the whole entire thing, the whole dealio. That's also includes props and things for trailers and the content and that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of money. And if you think about in terms of what decks are selling for, like, yes, you know, $15 for a deck to me seems like a lot, but if you think about what people are making from decks, even us per se, we sell our decks for a very affordable price, and we usually, on average, because of course the more you buy, the cheaper they get, and we have the early bird release special, so we normally sell decks, other than Peeler's V3, which was, since it was gold, it was a little bit more expensive. We usually sell on average for like $7 to $8 a deck. And so you have to think about that as, yes, we sell that for $7, $8, but then we have to make up all of the money that we invested and spent in costs to gain any sort of profit. So I just did a theoretical math thing that I can put over here this time. So this is just theoretical. If you have 2,500 decks, and the total cost of all the things was $12,000, and you sold for an average of $8. And this isn't counting decks for yourself. This isn't counting decks for sponsors. This isn't counting giveaway decks. This is like if you literally sold all of them. 8 times 2,500 is $20,000. So that is the total revenue. So now we have to take the total revenue, which is $20,000, and subtract the costs from that of everything. So after that, you take away $12,000, you're left with $8,000 in pure profit. Then I have a partner, Kevin, so I have to split that with him, and then you get to $4,000. Now, yes, $4,000 seems like a lot of money, but when you put into perspective that it took you 34 weeks to make that $4,000, it doesn't add up to being great. And if you even look at, like, and that $4,000, it's not taking out taxes. It's not like in the States, it's like income tax. It's not taking that out. Like, and think about this. We try to make 4 to 5 decks a year. So that's about 20, like, being very, very transparent, what I make from this is about $20,000 a year. And that's not a lot. Especially if I'm trying to make that my living, the thing I do, only that for money. And here are on the bottom, I put some comparable jobs. Fast food workers make more than I do a year in terms of just from OPC. Dishwashers make more than I do a year than I do from OPC. Like, it's very much, if you want to get into the playing card industry and you want to sell for not $75, and you want to sell at a decent price, you want your price point to be affordable, and you want your price point to be to where people can afford it and people can have your decks, you're not going to make a lot of money. So if you're looking to get into this for the money, this is not it. You should go find something else. This is very much a part-time thing for me, and this is very much a thing that I do because I enjoy it, and I love it, and I love the community. Like, it is not the money. So if you are, like, thinking you're going to be high rolling making decks, it's not how that works. You know, and in terms of, if you think about even, like, the bigger companies, like, if you think about if they just sold cards, like, so we make 5 decks a year times, we'll just say 2,500. What even is that? 2,500 times 5. We sell on average a year about 12,500 decks, which is like how much a lot of the bigger companies or like bigger brands that print a deck probably sell a year. And that they, like, if I'm not making a full living, and they're yes, they are charging about $5 or $6 more per deck, so that helps. But like that's why you pay $15 per deck, is so that people can make money enough to support them and put the amount of time into this is that that they can, you know. Like, I have to do other things on the side to be able to live, so I can't be putting all of my time and energy into this company. So like that's kind of where that's at. So being very transparent, being very, very like it's not going to be a bunch of money. It's going to be a lot of work. You're not going to get paid very often. I get paid like 5 times a year, and it is a bigger lump sum, but then that has to last me. So in terms of financials and cost and all of that stuff, I don't think a lot of people understand any of that at all. So I definitely wanted to put that out there for you guys to know and understand. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this file has audio, because I already recorded this once. And yeah, so we'll keep going with what I was saying earlier. So I hope all of this made sense. I hope that you've sticked around to the end of the video. If you have, you're an absolute trooper. I have no idea how I'm going to edit this yet. This is just something I wanted to do for you guys, random on a day that I wanted to create something. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing the whole process. I hope that this has helped you in any way. If you ever want to send me deck designs that you've worked on, if you ever want to send me questions or anything like that, I usually am very good about answering our DMs. I'm usually very good about giving advice and things, and helping people on their journey of making their own decks. So I hope this helped, and I hope this was awesome. And yeah, here's what happened earlier that distracted me. Hear about the box? And there's another. Oh no, there's not. Wait, hold on. Oh, this is not from Sam. This is from my good friend, over at Elemental Playing Cards, Nick. I have so many cards coming in the mail. This is from Elemental Playing Cards. My buddy Nick and Kier Gomes. Nick does Elemental, but he designs Slow Hands. And Kier Gomes sent me 2-day shipping. Wow, look at that. That brick box is nice. Let me see if I can. That brick box is real nice. Turns into an opening. Oh, we got a sticker too? Wow. No, I'm digging these stickers. Like, that's dope. That's dope. Got another slug. Okay. Yeah, I'm about this. This is real nice, guys. Y'all killed this. I wasn't able to back this one because I didn't have money at the time. But yeah, this deck. See if I can get it open. See if it'll open real nice for me. Will it open real nice for me? Yes. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. The smell of new cards is so good. I love the Jokers. Oh, there's a card for Magic in here. Whoa. Okay. Oh, and is there a dupe? Oh, there's a duplicate as well. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. These feel really nice. Like, the whole concept of this was so cool. So kudos to them if you want to go check them out. I think they have a V2 coming out. So, yes, go check them out. They're really nice. They're my friends. Okay, well, if this is the end of the video, I love you. Goodbye.